What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I have another video for you. I had the Jetta out today and we are going to break it down mod by mod to show you exactly what I've done to this car. So let's get right into it. The car is a 2014 Volkswagen GLI that I purchased about 3.5 years ago from a local friend who owned the car, who moved to Florida. I ended up having to ship the car back up to Pennsylvania. I saw the car many times in person before that. At the time I had a Mark V Jetta TDI that I gave back to Volkswagen when they had the buyback. And this car had popped up for sale right at that time at the end of 2016, and at the time I was actually looking for a similar car like this, and I knew I had to jump on this. So like I said, I had the car shipped up to back up to Pennsylvania. At the time the car was slightly modified. I have added a couple of my own things over time. So yeah, let's get right into it. The most obvious is that the car is sitting on airlift performance suspension. The Slam Series bag is not the performance line. There has been a little bit of work done to the rest of the suspension. I have swoops built, fixed camber plates in the front for a total of -2 degrees camber. And in the rear, I have swoops built adjustable rear control arms, and I'm sitting at about -6, -7 degrees. I can get up to -10 out of the rear, but I don't want to run something that's so aggressive because my goal for the car was I wanted it to be simple. So the wheels on the car, they are 18 by 9.5. Double step converted BBS RSs. These were originally white. I ended up powder coating them silver. I went with a lighter shade of silver over the car being gray. Not a huge fan of like color matched wheels, so I wanted it to be like this kind of like an OEM Plus look. So I went with the silver with brand new gold hardware. I swapped out the original hexes for quarter height polished billet hexes and the red and gold BBS center caps. I do have more at home. The front wheels are front wheels are plus 22 offset. The rear wheels are plus 18. We'll check that out in a minute. Running 205, 40, 18 Nitto Neogen tires. Not too much, nothing. I didn't want a crazy stretch for it because, to be honest, I daily drove this car for 2 years and about 1 year on these wheels, believe it or not. I don't do that anymore now, thankfully. So I didn't want a crazy stretch, so I went with the 205s, 40 profile tire, because I've had some bad experiences with 35 profile tires, and I've never had an issue with these tires. They're great tires. They're not really great in the rain, honestly. But these are my preferred tires for stretching, and I've never used any other tires. I've had a couple Nankangs, but it wasn't really crazy about it. These are a little bit more expensive tires, but to me, I think it's 100% worth it. It's a better quality tire in my opinion. So let's talk about Aero real quick. I purchased this splitter. This is the only bit of Aero that I have on the car because, quite frankly, they don't really offer a whole lot for the Jetta. We get kind of ripped off a little bit because the GTI gets everything. But I ended up purchasing this splitter from ECS Tuning. This is the ECS Tuning branded splitter, but it's basically exactly like the Maxton design splitter for the Mark VI Jetta. I went with the matte black because it matches the rest of the trim and the GLI side skirt trim. You can get it in gloss or carbon fiber, but I think the matte black looks nice. Very easy to install, and I think it looks really good. I've been looking around for a diffuser for the rear, and we're going to head over there in a second, because it just kind of looks a little boring a little bit, but unfortunately the rear splitters that are on the market for this car, They look a little too aggressive for my liking. They look a little too sporty, and I'm not really going for that look. Maybe a little bit, but not like, I'm not trying to go like a whole tuner car look. Like, you know, this isn't an FRS or a Focus ST with all this Aero parts. No offense to anyone who owns those cars, because those are awesome cars, but it's just not the look for this car, I don't think. I took the plastic dip off the trim. I wanted that nice chrome look, and I think this is actually how it looks factory if you aren't familiar with it. So I ended up taking the plastic dip off of the trim, and I think it looks so much better, and it actually looks really good with the wheels on the car. But that's pretty much basically everything that's up here. There's no custom lighting. I don't have custom headlights. These are the factory lights. The car itself is fully loaded. It's the Autobahn with navigation package. So you get the upgraded HID lights. And these cost a fortune. So I'm not replacing these or changing them out. And I hear it's a little complicated, I think. But I have no plans in changing the lights. Coming over to the rear of the car, there's not really much going on back here. Like I said before, I do want to get some kind of diffuser for the rear. I'm not really sure I'm not really crazy about what's available. Maybe get something custom made, but as you can tell, the one downside to the rear, because I sit fender to lip, is the rear, there's so much space underneath the car, it doesn't really look low at all. So I wanted a diffuser that would kind of simulate a lower look to it, as well as those side spats that Maxton Design offers, and a couple others, just to kind of give it a little bit more of an aggressive look, but nothing too crazy, like I said. One thing that, this might be a little bit of a spoiler alert, the taillights, I've been thinking about doing something a little different. I know that they offer other taillight options. Taillights that actually kind of look like Audi lights and stuff, but these are also pretty expensive taillights. I'd like to find a donor set of taillights and maybe do a DIY project and try and make some like clear or white silver taillights for that. Like, it's like a JDM inspired look kind of, but I think it would really look cool. There's no one offers anything like that for this car. I believe the Mark 7 GTI, there might be an option for it. I know that InPro made clear or white taillights for a Mark 5 GTI. So I've never seen it on a Jetta before. I would love to maybe see if I can pull it off or something. I think it might be a cool little thing to look into in the future. But let's move into the trunk real quick, and I'll show you what's going on in there. So for the trunk, the camera is having a hard time picking up everything inside the trunk, so I'll roll some other footage. I have a false floor with I think it's either a 4 or 5 gallon tank running with dual 400C compressors, Vire compressors. These actually have to be replaced at some point because they're really getting tired. They've been in the car for about 3 years, and when I first got it, I used to run it a lot. I don't usually do that anymore, just to preserve the life of them. But there will be more. I do have a future plan for redoing the trunk, probably doing some kind of hardwood floor or doing some hard lines. But everything is basically tucked away in the back because, like I said, I used to daily this car and I used to take it to work all the time. So I needed some functional space in here. And I still do regardless, because when I go to shows, I'm bringing all my film equipment with me, and I need to be able to throw stuff in the back. So I like to be able to still be able to use the trunk space. But so there's not really much going on back here. The floor is actually carpeted, but over the years from all the use, I kind of like tore a hole in it, so it needs to be redone. So just another thing to add to the list. So let's get into some of the performance stuff. Starting in the back, because we're already here. The car has an AWE tuning exhaust. It's the track edition, so it's non-resonated, just has a muffler with the chrome exhaust tips. I also have a 3-inch CTS turbo downpipe with a high flow cat I also do have the cat delete pipe that I ran for a little bit, but I ended up just leaving the high flow cat on. Honestly, I didn't really notice a huge sound difference. It just smelled a lot more, and it was kind of a hassle having to swap it on for emissions purposes. So I just left it on, and it sounds really good still. So underneath the hood, there's not a whole lot going on over here either. I just have a APR carbon fiber intake. They don't currently make this one anymore. They make a newer one that I don't even know if it fits this. Being that the car's a 2014, it does have the Gen 3 2-liter turbocharged TSI engine. Makes about 210 horsepower stock or something, nothing too crazy. Does have a forged diverter valve on it. The car does need a clutch at some point, but because it does slip a little bit, so I plan on replacing the clutch soon and getting the car tuned. The car's not tuned right now, but I'll probably end up going with like an APR Stage 2 tune for a little extra power, and yeah, I think I'm going to go that route. So for inside the car, not a whole lot either. The interior is mostly just stock, honestly. Like I mentioned before, it does have a short shifter, very short throws. I really like it. I have my airlift controller mounted here next to right behind my steering wheel between the gauges and the vent for easy access, and I can monitor everything without having to look too far away or look down here. I also have a P3 multifunctional boost gauge that's built into the vent over here, which monitors everything from boost pressure to oil temperature, air-fuel ratio. It even does 0 to 60 times, which is nice. It's nice to have, honestly. Like I said before, this car has pretty much every option. It has the Fender audio system, the navigation, power seats, heated seats, you name it. Eventually, these seats, I'm going to end up taking these out and putting in some like a sportier seat. Probably thinking about like the Corbeau RRS seats, because you can get them heated, and I don't want to like lose that functionality of it. And before anyone in the comments says or mentions it, yes, my window tint has peeled off. I just have not gotten around to fixing it yet. The car does have 15% tint all around. The tint was already on the car, so I kind of got used to it, and yeah, I like it. So, but I do have to fix this at some point. But add that to the list too. So you guys have seen the Mark II Jetta that I bought like last year. You guys don't even know about the Mark III GTI that I ended up getting a couple months ago. I haven't even done a video on that, and I don't know if I will, because to be honest, I've actually decided to sell that car to ultimately keep this, which I actually almost sold this car late last year, and now I'm glad I didn't. And the reason why I'm keeping the car at this point is because of the whole COVID-19 quarantine. I've actually been able to, being home for about a month and a half, I was able to, enjoy this car a little bit more often. I can go out, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, I'll put a link below. It's at Mike Burns Media. I've been taking a lot of photos of this car, so I've been enjoying it a lot, and it's kind of like I kind of like fell in love with the car again, and I almost didn't want to start over, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. So and fortunately, because I'm sure we've all been getting the stimulus checks and the extra money due to this whole pandemic, I've actually been able to pay off a couple extra $1,000, several thousands of dollars towards the loan. Yes, I have a loan on the car, but I've been able to pay off the car more, and I think I can actually pay this car off in about a year or two. So after that, I will basically own the car. There's going to be a lot more things to come with this car, and I'm going to continue building it. Note, this is not a build, and I will never call this car a build unless I do some crazy swap in the future or do some wide body stuff, but this is not a build. I hate calling it a build. I don't really like the term build because, and I'm going to be honest, this car, it's bags and wheels, but it's exactly what I like, and I enjoy this car, and I did it for me, and I don't really do it for anyone else, and I enjoy this car a lot. So, but I'm keeping the car. I have parts on order right now I'm still waiting to get, and I'm hoping that I get some of this stuff before this season kicks off, because of this whole pandemic, there has been no car shows or anything to go to, so I've been just going out late at night, trying to shoot new types of shots that I've never done before, and just experimenting, honestly. So, but yeah, I'm basically keeping the car, and I'm going to continue to go a little further with it. Definitely going to see some new wheels on this probably next year. But for this year, I'm going to run it the way it is. And like I said, basically the only thing I think I'm going to do to this car this year is add some more front camber to it. I don't know how much yet, but I'm still waiting on those parts to get here. So I just wanted to break it down, show you everything about the car, and I figured this is a good starting point so that I can make update videos in the future and go from there. If you guys want to see more of this car, you want to see more of even just my work, please follow me on Instagram below, and also continue to support the channel. Liking the videos really helps me out a lot, and I'm really trying to grow this channel as fast as possible. And it's taking a while, but I do also have some more videos coming out. I do want to do a gear video. I want to show you all the gear that I use, because that is another question I get asked a lot. Like, what camera am I shooting with, and what gimbal am I using? And I actually just made a couple new purchases that I'm really excited to use and share with you guys. So yeah, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram, and liking the video, and even subscribing, and I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to get more content out for you guys. So thank you for watching.